review and a much more detailed, much higher-powered review to look at the problem that we've got in Labour and to deal with it.
When I became leader, I understood that a number of people had been suspended from the party before I became leader. I also received reports of anti-Semitic remarks and behaviour at certain party events, and I'm obviously very well aware of the rise of anti-Semitism, not just in Britain, but across Europe. Point one, anti-Semitism is absolutely and totally unacceptable anywhere in our society, anywhere in our party, anywhere in our world. If I may, David,
yes,
the second point is that I did ask Shami Chakrabarti, the former director of Liberty, to undertake an investigation. I asked her to do it quite quickly because I wanted to be in a position to put a statement to our national executive and put proposals to our conference on how we deal with issues of suspension, how we deal with anti-Semitism in the party. She produced that report. We launched that report. Obviously, it should be subject to review at a later stage to see how it's getting on. Okay. But we have to say to everyone in the Labour Party, this is a safe place to be. This is a welcoming party to be, of people of all faiths, of all religions, to come into our party and work together to achieve the kind of social justice that we
want. When you say that, you had your own Labour MP, Ruth Smeeth, saying the fact is that you failed to intervene, and it's final proof when she was heckled at the meeting. Final proof for me that you are unfit to lead and that a Labour Party under your stewardship can't be a safe space for British Jews.
I'm very disappointed, Ruth would say that. She was herself subject to some appalling abuse earlier this week and indeed last weekend, and I send my support and sympathy and solidarity to her, as I would to anybody else who's subject to any kind of abuse. I do not accept any kind of racist abuse in any form, in any forum.
Very briefly.
Ruth Smeeth has been subject to abuse. Ruth is currently being protected by the police. So serious is the abuse that she's been subject to. And the point she makes, and the point that other members of the Jewish community have made, is that under Jeremy's leadership, we've seen people coming into the Labour Party from the hard left of politics who are bringing into our party anti-Semitic attitudes, and that cannot be acceptable.
Who are you talking about?
I think there are people on the far left of the Labour Party who are flooding into our party, and that's their word, not mine. That's their word, not mine. The AWL, the Alliance for Workers' Liberty, only a couple of weeks ago said, let's flood into the Labour Party. There are other people who've come from hard left groups who've come into Labour. Just the other day, I saw a tweet. Let me finish this, Jeremy. I saw a tweet from Jeremy's, well, purporting to be from Jeremy's team, to members of a hard left group saying, you are welcome to come to Jeremy's rallies, just leave the flags and banners at home. And the reason for that was we've seen some of those flags and banners at some of Jeremy's rallies, and unfortunately some of those people are bringing an attitude into our party from the hard left that I don't think is welcome.
When you say the hard left, I mean, Labour Party is a left-wing party. Are you saying these people should not be allowed in and he's not kicking them out?
I think there are people who've come from the AWL and the SWP and some of the other hard left groups that either have not been part of the Labour Party or even been prescribed by the Labour Party as not being members of our party and not being able to join. And some of those people are, it's all over their websites, anybody can look it up, advocating joining the Labour Party in order to support Jeremy and in order to control the Labour Party.
Let me get it absolutely clear. Are you saying he's allowing it or encouraging it because it gives support to his policies?
I think some of the people around Jeremy are absolutely encouraging it. Of that there is no doubt.
I'm sure we can agree on two things. Firstly, that all of us together are going to make sure that we defeat any aspects of anti-Semitism within our party and within our society. On that, I'm sure we're absolutely agreed. Yeah?
We are agreed, but I'm not sure you're entirely committed to it, Jeremy.
Owen, that is a pretty unfair, let's say unfair way of saying it. I have spent my life opposing racism in any form, as have you.
And as have you, and many people on the left, and many people on the left, and many people on the hard left of our party who've been alongside you over many years do associate anti-Zionist anti-imperialist, anti-Israel perspectives, and that is unfortunately colouring some of the dialogue in our party.
Let's be clear.
And I don't think you've been strong enough in speaking out against that and distancing yourself from it.
We are very clear that we're all opposed to anti-Semitism. We're all opposed to any form of racism in our society. That's the very core of what our party is about. It's the statement I put to the National Executive, which was unanimously agreed at its meeting in May.
Well, some of your Jewish Labour MPs do not feel that the Labour Party under your leadership is a safe place, Jeremy.
I support them in their right to their identity and what they're saying. I support them when they're being abused, just as I would support anybody else who's suffering any kind of racism. Just as you would as well.
They don't feel support.
Let me just go back to the young man who asked the question in the first place, if we can. What's your comment on what you
My comment is, Jeremy says he's anti-racism, yet he supports groups such as Hamas, who call for the death of all Jews.
No, I do not support Hamas. You know that. What I've done is I have met people from Hamas. Yes, I have. Do I agree with them? No, on that. Do I think there is a chance one day of getting a peace agreement between Israel and Palestine? Yes, I absolutely do, and want that to happen. And I'm sure you do too.
Yep, brief point.
Following on from the gentleman's question, there's a lot of members of the Muslim community that also do not feel safe on the street. Islamophobia is also an up-and-coming issue that's affecting many people in this country. You say definitely, Owen. You're the one that endorsed the Prevent strategy, which virtually every single person... Especially after many of the terrorist atrocities that happen around the world, the backlash is the Muslim community that there's hate crimes against them. There's women that want to wear a headscarf that don't feel safe to leave the house. So my question to you is, what are you going to do to make it safer for Muslims as well as the Jewish community, apart from endorsing the Prevent programme, which everybody is virtually against?
OK, well, again, I hate to say you're wrong, but you are wrong. I've not said that. What I said was Prevent, when it was started in 2005, under the Labour government, was designed to try and better integrate people who feel isolated in the Muslim community into wider society. It's clearly not worked. It wasn't working well under Labour. It's now been completely subverted by the Tories and is now seen by many people as a racist project.
So why do you want to increase the funding towards it?
I want to increase the funding in order to change it, in order to make sure that it's in order to make sure
How would you change it then? How would you change it?
By taking it back to what it was meant to be right at the beginning, which is a scheme that was designed to integrate people. Now, we might change the name of it, obviously, but it's got to be a scheme that is designed to mitigate against radicalism, make sure that the Muslim community do feel fully integrated and celebrated in our communities. All of us want that in this country, and I would be certain that if I were the leader of the Labour Party, that would absolutely be my policy.
I'll leave that one if you would, because we've got only 5 minutes left. And
I wanted to say something to him. It was kind as well. It was friendly and kind and helpful, honestly. But don't you think that, moving on from the Prevent, we should actually build a much stronger sense of community cohesion of all faiths and all groups, and generate a sense of anti-racism within our society? And the danger of Prevent was it isolated the Muslim community, targeted young Muslims and expected teachers to report on them if they thought they were going in a bad direction, and instead try to bring communities together. That's what bothers me about it, and what bothers me even more, or as much, is the growth of hate crime and racist violence on the streets of this country. We have to unite together to oppose all of that and bring about a much safer society.
We've only a few minutes. Newman Mia, and I want quick answers to this one. Newman Mia, please, your question.
Are junior doctors right to go on strike? Do you support them?
Do you support the junior doctors going on strike? OK, hold on. We want to know what the candidates think. It's a yes or a no.
They have every right to go on strike, but I hope the government will, even now, engage in proper negotiations with the BMA, proper negotiations with the junior doctors. They are the lifeblood of our National Health Service. They don't want to withdraw their labour. They want to support our NHS. The problem is Jeremy Hunt.
Hold on. it wasn't do they have the right to strike, the question was, are they right to go on strike, which is a different question.
They felt they were forced into it. They've withdrawn the strike they'd planned because they were hoping to get negotiations going, and they're hoping that the government will make some progress on it. But I hope the government is listening, because those doctors are crucial to our health service.
Owen Smith?
Well, I too would always defend their right to go on strike. I don't want them to go on strike, though. I think it is potentially dangerous. That's why they've said that they've called off the 5-day strike that they were planning. But I completely understand the way they feel about our NHS. £2.5 billion in debt in this country, A&E maternity units closing down left, right and centre, the Tories undermining the NHS at every turn. It's why we need a Labour government to be able to invest once more in the NHS. I'd invest £60 billion over a 5-year parliament.
Okay. Well, a lot of solid political questions. We've got a question here, an intriguing one from Susie Robinson. Let's just have that, and then I think we're almost at the end. Susie Robinson.
My dad is a retired bus driver and was proud to receive an MBE from the Queen for services to trade unions. What's your view on the monarchy?
Jeremy Corbyn.
I'm glad he received an honour. Well done, him. I just don't think that serving politicians should receive honours. I think it's an honour enough to be elected.
That wasn't Susie's question. Susie's question was, what's your view of the monarchy?
I thought the view was on the honours.
No, the question, I've got it here, and she can do it again if you like. What's your view of the monarchy?
I'm not campaigning on the issue of the monarchy. I'm campaigning on the issues of democracy within our society.
I'm in favour of retaining the monarchy. I think the Queen does a great job. I'm sure your dad was very delighted to get the award, and good on him.
OK. And so, last point. Patrick Morello. Very brief, please.
How will you heal the divisions in the Labour Party? And as winner, will you offer a post to a loser? Or as loser, will you serve under the winner?
I think we've had that answer pretty well.
I want the party to come together. I want us to end the election campaign, agree on our general political direction on austerity and social justice and all the things that we agree on, and of course I'd be delighted to work with Owen to bring about that social justice in Britain.
OK, and will you offer him a post?
I've already done it. I think he should be the president or the chairman of the party, but crucially,
But it doesn't exist.
We've got to unite
It doesn't exist, Owen.
The chairman does,
It doesn't exist.
Well, you know, the chairman
doesn't
does.
exist.
Crucially, we've got to unite and win, David.
We end where we started, but our time's up, I'm afraid. Thank you both very much indeed.